Hi love, welcome back. In today's class, we are making this beautiful shell jumpsuit. If you are new to the channel, my name is Miss Ai and you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you my love. Thank you darling for always coming back to us. Let's get right into class. In this tutorial, I'm going to be using 80 grams of acrylic yarn, this cake acrylic yarn. You're going to need your tape measure, your darning needle, your stitch marker, and I'm going to be using a 4.0 millimeter hook. This jumpsuit is a medium and it can fit a size 8 to 10. To begin with, you are going to make a slip knot and take a measurement of your collarbone or the upper part of your bust, just as you take shoulder to shoulder measurement, and make chains that is equivalent to your measurement. So I'm going to make 35 chains, and remember your chains should be in a multiples of 5. So whatever measurements that you got, make sure it's in a multiples of 5. So after your 35 chains, you're going to yarn over, skip 4, and in the 5th chain you are going to make a double crochet, and this counts as your first V stitch. That is a double crochet, chain 2 and a double crochet. So make your 2 chains, skip 4, and in the 5th stitch you are going to put a double crochet V stitch. So double crochet V stitches, make your double crochet, chain 2, 1 and 2, and make a double crochet in the same stitch. So that is a double crochet V stitch. You are going to chain 2 again, skip 4 chains and make a double crochet V stitch in your 5th stitch. Chain 2 and a double crochet. So you should be having something like this: chain 2, skip 4 and make a double crochet V stitch. So that is row 1. You are going to keep repeating chain 2 and making a double crochet V stitch until the end of the row. So keep doing this and I'll meet you at the end of the row. At the end of the row, you make your double crochet. Instead of chain 2, you're going to chain 1 and make a double crochet in the same stitch, so that the beginning and the ending would be the same. So now row 2, you are going to chain 3, turn your work, and you are going to place 3 double crochet inside that chain 1 space or inside the V stitch. So the chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So in total you should have 4 double crochets, and you are going to make a single crochet in the chain 2 space and place 7 double crochets in the next V stitch. Make your single crochet in the chain 2 space, place 7 double crochet in the following V stitch, and you are going to repeat this until the end of the row. And at the end, you are going to make 4 double crochets in the last V stitch. So go ahead and do this, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. At the end of the row, just as we did, we placed 4 double crochet at the beginning row. You are going to place 4 double crochet at the end, and your work should look the same after you are done with your row 2. So this is what your work should be looking like. Row 3, you are going to chain 4, turn your work, and you're going to make your first double crochet, which is a V stitch, in the same stitch, so that you have your first V stitch. Chain 2, and on top of the 7 double crochets, you are going to count the middle. So to the 4th stitch, you are going to put your V stitch on top of the middle of your 7 double crochets. So just locate the middle and make your V stitch. And V stitch is double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. And you should have something like this. Chain 2, and you go on top of the next 7 double crochets and place your V stitch. Chain 2 and a double crochet, and you chain 2, go to the next V stitch, the next shell, and place a V stitch. So you're going to keep doing this until the end of the row, and at the end I'll show you what to do. I'm at the end of the row, and just as we did for the beginning, you are going to place your last V stitch at the last stitch of your double crochet, your 4 double crochet. You are going to chain 2, and you put your next double crochet. So you should be having something like this, and this is going to be a repeat row. Row 3 and 4 we are just going to be alternating them, but we are going to increase at this point. To start your increasing row, row 4, the beginning, you are going to make 7 double crochets inside your V stitch. So this is 4, 5 and 6, 7. So place 7 double crochets inside your first V stitch, and you are going to make a single crochet inside the next chain 2 space, and keep placing 7 double crochets inside each V stitch and a single crochet inside the chain 2 space until the end of the row. So at the end of this row, you are going to place 7 double crochets inside the last V stitch. So keep doing this, and I'll meet you at the end of the row and we continue. Row 5, you are going to start with chain 4, and note that all the V stitch rows you are starting with chain 4, and all the shell rows you are starting with chain 3. Make a double crochet inside the same stitch, making a V stitch, chain 2, and in the middle of your shell stitch you are going to make a V stitch. So V stitch is double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet inside the same space, chain 2, and keep making your V stitch rows until the end of the row. And at the end of the row, you are going to make your V stitch inside the very last shell space, and make your last one at the end of the row. So I'm going to show you quickly at the end so you can do exactly what I'm doing. So at the end, this is my last shell, so make a V-stitch in the middle, at the middle space, and chain 2 and place your last, just as we did for the beginning. So this is the increase row. So because it was the previous shell was an increase, we are going to also increase the V-stitch. Now you're going to chain 3 for row 6 and make your shell space. So we are going to be alternating between increasing and normal rows. So because we increase for the previous row, we are going to make 3 double crochets, but chain 3 is a double crochet, so meaning half shell. So keep making your half shell in the first stitch or in the first V stitch, and keep making your 4 stitches until the end of the row. And at the end of the row, you are going to make your half stitch, your half shell, sorry. So keep doing this and I'll meet you at the end of the row. I'm at the end of the row and your work should be looking like this, so you can see the increase. So row 7, you're going to chain 4, turn your work and make your first V-stitch inside the same space. You're going to chain 2, and anytime there's a half shell, we are going to skip it. That's why we did the shell, we did the V-stitch at the very first space. When you increase, then you are going to work your V-stitches at the very beginning, but when it's a half shell, you don't work. So we are going to be alternating between the half shell and the full shell. That's your increase and your decreases. So now we are going to increase, so chain 3, turn your work, and you are going to put 7 double crochets inside the very first, that's for row 8. You're going to put 7 double crochets, and 7 double crochet is an increase and it's a full shell. So go ahead and put 7 double crochet in the very first V-stitch and keep working your chain 2, 7 double crochets, chain 2, 7 double crochets until the end. At the end, the last stitch, make sure you put your 7 double crochet because it's an increase row. So we are going to now alternate between half shell, that is 4 double crochets, and full shell, that is 7 double crochets, and the full shell is your increase. So alternate between increase row and no increase row until you get to row 11, and I'll meet you there. So for row 9, let me walk you through the beginning of row 9. So you are going to chain 4 and you are going to start your V-stitch at the very beginning as always, chain 2, and you are going to put your second V-stitch at the very middle of your shell, your full shell. And you are going to keep doing this until you get to row 11. And when I say row 11 here, I'm counting only the shells but not the even rows, not the odd rows, sorry. So 11 shells. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to build 11 shells and I'll meet you when I'm done with my 11 shells. And this is my 11 shells, and this is what your work should be looking like. And this coverage is below my bust and just on top of my navel. So the measurements, we have 21 inches, but when stretched we have like 24-25 inches. You're now going to take a measurement of your waist and you're going to make a chain to connect this to the other side of your wig. So with this, I'm going to chain 40, and your chain should be in a multiples of 5. Connect it on top of your chain 3 space or your half stitch, and you are going to chain 6. Now we are going to be working in rounds until we get to our clutch area, and we continue our work. I'll show you what to do. So now let's focus on working rounds, and when you connect it, measure to see that you have your exact waist measurement. To continue, you are going to work your V-stitch in the 4th stitch, in the middle of the 4th stitch. So we are going to be working the same pattern. So chain 2 and work your V-stitch in the middle of your 4th stitch. So work around, keep making your V-stitches until you get to the chain 40, and we will work the chain space together. I'm at the chain space, and you are going to chain 2, skip 4, and in the 5th stitch you are going to make your V stitch, just as we did for the beginning of our work. So we make our V stitch, we are going to chain 2, skip 4, make your V stitch in the chain 5 in the 5th stitch, so we are going to keep making our V stitch in the 5th stitch, and we are make sure you chain your 2 and make your V stitch, skip 4, make your V stitch inside the chain 5 space. At the end of the row, our chain 5 space, you are going to make a double crochet inside that same stitch, so that stitch becomes a V stitch, and chain 2 and connect inside the 3rd chain space, so it becomes your V stitch. So you should be having something like this. And for row 2 of your round row, you are going to chain 3, and inside the same stitch you are going to put 3 double crochets, so the chain 3 counts as a double crochet, so in total you have 4. Make a single crochet inside the chain 2 space, make your 4 shell stitch. So this is the same as we've been doing it. We started with, the pattern is just the same. Work your shell stitches around until the end of the row. At the end of the row, we are going to complete our shell. So we are going to make 3 more double crochet inside the 4 double crochet space, making it a full shell, and you are going to connect it on top of the double crochet space. So with this round row, we are going to be working, there's no half shell, we are going to be working full shell. And to begin with, we always make a half shell, and when you come, you complete it with your 3 double crochet, making it 4 shells. So to begin row 3, you are going to chain 5 as usual, and we are going to make your V stitches on top of all the 4 shell. And when we get to the beginning point, we would complete our V stitch by making a double crochet inside the same stitch and connecting it to our chain 5 space. So keep making your keep making your V stitch row, and I'll meet you at the end so we can connect our V stitch row. So to connect it, you are going to make a your double crochet inside the same space, chain 2 and connect it on top of the chain 3 space, and we have our complete V stitch for row 3. So for row 4, just as we did for row 2, you are going to chain 3 and begin with, you are going to make 3 double crochets inside the same V stitch. So 3 double crochet plus your chain 3 space, your chain 3 is 4 double crochets. So after your 4 double crochets, you are going to make your single crochets and in the next chain 2 space, and keep working your double crochets, your 7 double crochets, that's your shell, your full shell. And at the end or at the beginning, when you get to where your 4 double crochets is at the beginning point, you are going to work 3 more double crochets inside that same space, making it a full stitch, and you connect it on top of your chain 3 space, making it a full shell. So this is what you are going to be doing. So you are going to repeat this until you have 8 rows, and I'll meet you. So I'm just put in mind, I'm only counting the shell rows, so this is 1 and 2. So make sure you have 8 shell or 9 inches. In case you're using a different hook size or yarn and the shells would be a problem, just make sure you have 9 inches, and we will work an increase row for your our last row before we make our clutch area. So this is 8 shells and it measures 9 inches. That is with the yarn and hook I'm using. So for the last row, we are going to be making an increase row, and we are going to start by chaining 6. So make your 6 chains, and inside the same shell we are going to make V stitch, but this time not chain 2 but 3. So we are going to make chain 3 V stitches, and the connecting chains, instead of 2 we are going to make 4, but the pattern still remains the same. The V stitch, we are going to make 3 instead of 2, and we are going to make the connecting chains, instead of 2 we are going to make 4. So go around and connect your work at the end. We are increasing the last row because of the hip area, so we can have a very perfect fitting. And at the end of the row, just as we were doing, connect your V stitch and you are done with the V stitch row. And now for the shell row, you are going to chain 3, and the shell row is the same. We are only going to be increasing from the V stitch rows, but the shell rows remains the same. We are going to be working the same. So keep making your shells, and at the end of the row you connect it and cut. So you should have 9.5 inches measurements at this point. So we are going to connect, we are going to make our clutch now. And if you are making for a size big, consider making an additional row, making it 10 inches. But if you are making for a size small, consider reducing. So make 7 rows of normal and make 1 increase row. And if you are making for a medium, you can follow the same pattern. So we are going to divide our work into 2. Make sure you divide it into 2. And what I'm doing is I'm counting the stitches, the shells, and to get the same shells at both sides of our pant. So now to connect with, you are going to make a slip knot and connect with a chain at one side of the work, and you are going to chain 20. If you are making for a size small, No, we are going to make 20. You are going to chain 25. If you are making for a size small, consider chaining 20. If you are making for a size medium, consider chaining 25. And even a size large, consider chaining 25. 25 is pretty much enough for, and it can really fit sizes. Unless you're making for extra large, then you consider making chaining 30 for your clutch area. And after you're connect with a single crochet. To begin your row, you're going to chain 6 and make your V-stitch inside the first shell space. To continue our row with our V-stitch, you can do a double crochet, chain 3 and a double crochet, or double crochet, chain 2 and a double crochet. But the connecting row, we are going to be chaining 4 henceforth. So we are not going to be chaining 2 but 4. So chain 4, make your V-stitch. And with the V-stitch, you can chain double crochet, chain 3, double crochet. So work this until you get to where the chain is, your clutch area, and I'll show you what to do. So I'm at the clutch area, and you are going to work your V-stitch in the very beginning of your row, the very beginning of the chain space. So you work your V-stitch, and you're going to chain 2 to work on the clutch area with the chains. We are going to chain 2, skip 4, and make your V-stitch inside the 5th stitch. So just put it in mind, anytime you are working on a chain, is chain 2, skip 4, and make a V-stitch in the 5th space, chain 2, skip 4. That is why your chain should be in a multiples of 5. So do this and complete your chain space. If you haven't subscribed to the channel up until this point, my love, my darlings, my baby, please do. And if you're a returning subscriber and you've made it up to this point, please leave us a heart sign under the comment section and let us know where you're watching us from. It's always so beautiful to know. Okay, so we are going to make your last chain 2 and connect your V-stitch. So make your double crochet, chain 2, and connect it on top of your chain 6 space, so in the 2nd stitch, so that the 4 chains remaining will be your chain 4. So you're going to chain 3, and just put it in your mind that the shell space doesn't change. So chain 3 and make 3 double crochet inside the very first shell space, the very first or the same space. Make 3 double crochet, and the chain 3 count as a double crochet, so it will be 4 double crochets. Make your single crochet inside the 4 chains, work your shell, and shell is 7 double crochets inside the V-stitch. Make your single crochet inside the chain 4 space, and this is pretty much the pattern. You're going to go round and round and round and round until you get to the length of your jumpsuit. So if you want it mini, just go a few more rows, and if you want it maxi, just go. So at the end, to complete your shell, you're going to make 3 double crochets in the same space and connect your chain space. And to begin the next row, you're going to chain 6. So the chain 6 count as a chain 4, and you're connecting a double crochet. 2. So in the middle of your 4th stitch, your 4th shell, you are going to make your V-stitch, and you're going to be working round. So just watch the video as I go through with you. I show you how to do a few more rows, and now you would work this same exact pattern until you have the length of your whatever length that you desire. So at the end again, you are going to make a double crochet in the same space, chain 2, and connect it on top of the chain 2 space. So count 2 and connect it, and chain 3 and work your shell rows. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, and if you're new here and you've made it up to this point, my love, my darling, I love you so much. Consider subscribing and becoming a family, and always don't forget to attend our classes. And if you are an OG, my darling, thank you so much. Like, comment, and share our videos, and always join our classes. So keep doing this, and I'll meet you when I have one leg complete, and we'll move. I'll show you how to start with the second leg. So this is the complete, and I made about 20 rows, and when I say 20 rows here, I'm only counting the shell rows. So this is what I have, and you cut and fasten your yarn. So to begin the second leg, I'm going to connect make a slip knot and connect it at the I'm starting from the clutch area, and since this will be so easy, so chain 6, because we've already made our V stitches, so we are going to make your V stitches opposite the previous V stitches. And the V stitches here means chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, chain 2, sorry, because it's a clutch area, so we are going to be chaining 2, and just opposite your V stitches, you are going to be making V stitches again. Now when you get to the main work, so this will be our last V stitch for the clutch area, and now to the main work we will start chaining 4, 2, 3, 4, and make a V stitch on top of your full shell, and chain 4 and make your V stitch. So from here you are going to be chaining 4, 4, 4, 4 in the middle. So when you get to the end, you are just going to make your double crochet in the same space and connect it to the second stitch of your chain 6 space, chain 3, and make 4 double crochet in the same exact space, and 4 double crochets, sorry, make 3 double crochet, chain 3, count as a double crochet, and this is it. So keep working round and round, and the interval chain is 4 from this row going up until the end. You have your 20 shell rows, so you have to be chaining 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. You chain 4 to connect, make your V stitch, chain 4 to connect, make your V stitch, and I'll meet you when I have the other leg complete. So this is the other leg complete, so you have to cut, fasten your yarn, and sew in all loose ends. And now let's connect our strands. To connect our strands, I'm thinking of doing a long sleeves for this particular jumpsuit. If it's something you would like to see, please comment down and let's work that. Other than that, you just have to connect a long chain just on top of the corners. And if you also want to make your borders, make sure you make single crochets around your work. Other than that, just connect with a long strand at the corners of your work and chain, make a very long chain, and do the same thing for the other side of your work. And again, if you want to see me make this jumpsuit, make a long sleeves for this, please comment down. Let's see how many comments we got. If it's motivating enough, then we make a long sleeve, and it will be like a jumpsuit long sleeve backless, a backless jumpsuit, right? So after that, make sure you sew in all loose end, cut and fasten your yarn, and the back you are going to crisscross it if you wanted this style, and you're done. Until we meet next week, my love, my babies, my darlings, is bye for now. And also let us know if you want us again to make a long sleeves for this very jumpsuit. Bye bye.